Ahoy and welcome back to another video. It is now the end of June, maybe the first day of July when this actually goes up. We are officially halfway through the year, and that means it's time for me to talk about another month's worth of games I have played. Big month for games. I played a whole lot of games this month. I had a lot of free time. I was really lucky in that aspect. This was the month that the Switch 2 launched, so Switch 2, pretty heavy gaming time. Played a little bit of my PlayStation. I'll talk about that. But yeah, Switch 2 was the main character this month. I bought several games. I wanted to give my thoughts and opinions on several of the launch games. I think I put up 3 or 4 reviews this month, so I was pretty happy with the games I was able to play and experience this month. But let's just jump into it. First game I'll talk about is the big Switch 2 launch game. Of course, we're talking about Mario Kart World. So Mario Kart World, as far as a launch title, I don't know if that was what I would have picked for a launch game. Mario Kart feels like the game that, it just coexists with the Switch 1, Switch 2, with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where everyone just gets Mario Kart at some point. But I feel like for a launch title, you want to go with a big single-player focused game. I really wish Donkey Kong Bonanza would have been the launch game. Because I haven't found myself going back to Mario Kart World to play it single player. I basically only play Mario Kart World when I'm playing with friends, when I want to play online. I don't find that pull to go play Mario Kart World single player a whole lot like I would with something like a Donkey Kong Bonanza. That being said, Mario Kart World, I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. The mechanics with the rail grinding and the wall riding and stuff, it's fun. It creates a higher skill ceiling for the game that I have not quite tapped into yet. I'm still, I'm pretty confident in my Mario Kart abilities in general, but my Mario Kart World abilities I'm not super confident in. There's a lot more to learn in this game, a lot higher skill ceiling to develop. The 24 character races, I think, bring in a lot of, it's really hectic. It just really reinforces that problem with Mario Kart, in my opinion. If you're playing Mario Kart and you get out in front, you can really start to get away while everyone else in the pack is eating each other alive. I feel like this game's much worse about that because there's just so many characters, so much crazy stuff going on in the middle with so many items. Unless you're getting hit by a blue shell, if you're in first place, you're going away. No one's going to catch you. That being said, there being 24 characters, I feel like there's a lot more opportunities for someone to get a blue shell or to get some red shells to throw at first place. Yeah, I feel like if I'm playing it with my friends online with like a knockout tour or something, if one person gets really far ahead, they just kind of escape with it. And then when everyone else is in the meat of it, I feel like, you're going to war in there and it gets pretty intense. I really like it. I'm not totally sold on the intermission for the races yet. I kind of wish there was more of just the 3-track race opportunities. Like if you're doing Grand Prix, the first race is always a 3-lap race, and then the next 3 are always those, it's like 2/3 intermission, and the last lap is 1 lap on the course. I wish there was more opportunities to just play 3-lap races, because while the intermission races are like a fun way to break things up, I'm not sold on them as a core mechanic that is like a majority of the time is these intermission races. I wish it was more of an additive rather than a replacement for a majority of the race time. Yeah, I'll continue to play this game probably the next 7 or 8 years as long as Switch 2's out. I'm sure they're going to put updates out. I'm sure they're going to add characters, courses. Maybe they'll take some feedback. I know a lot of people are kind of upset at them right now with the way they're handling the intermission races and the online lobbies and stuff. Yeah, fun game. Excited to see what it becomes in the next 5-7 years. Next game up, another racing game. This is one I actually put a review out for, and that is Fast Fusion. Fast Fusion is it's from Shinen, I believe it's called Shinen. It is a futuristic, fast racer, hence the fast in the title. Think of your F-Zeros, your Wipeouts. Those are the 2 common comparisons to this series. First off, this game is $15, and I think it is a steal at $15. If you want a little bit different of a racing experience than something like Mario Kart, and if you're looking for more of a like I really like Fast Fusion. Like when I'm playing single player racing, I'm not really going to Mario Kart World as much. I'm going to Fast Fusion and doing the cups there. I really enjoy this. I've only played Fast Fusion single player for the most part, but I really enjoy playing it single player. It feels much more rewarding. It feels like I'm making some good progress, checking off all the different races and stuff. Premise of the game: you go real fast. You have a jump button on your left bumper. Has a nice little jump for the spaceship thing, and you boost with your right bumper. So you want to mix in the boosting and the jumping to go through shortcuts to get medallions, which gives you more boost, and then you can switch with the X button between like two phases of like orange and blue, and there are certain boosts that only give you a boost if you're the right color. So you're boosting, you're jumping, you're switching phases. That's very fast. The starting speed is called subsonic, and it's like, oh, this is pretty quick. And then you get supersonic, like, whoa, this is really fast. And then the last speed is hypersonic. And if you're not ready for it, hypersonic is a little hard to take in. Sometimes you feel like you're going so fast you can't really tell what's going on. But I really like Fast Fusion. If I had a complaint, it's that the way you unlock ships in the game is you just use the money, the currency you get from winning races. And that's fine. But you don't have to unlock any of the ships per se. You just spend the money on whichever one you want. And very quickly, I was able to just buy the fastest ship. And I guess I didn't mention the fusion mechanic. The fusion side of this Fast Fusion game is you can fuse two ships together to make a new third ship. So I just bought the fastest ship and the ship with the highest acceleration, and then I fused them together. And now I have this ship that has max acceleration, max speed, and I have no reason or inclination to ever switch using ships ever again, because I have the fastest possible, fastest acceleration ship in the game, like fairly early. So I've been playing the whole game with that. So I think if I had a complaint, it would be maybe it would feel more rewarding to unlock ships as I go, rather than just getting, in my opinion, the best ship in the game very quickly and not even caring about the other ships. But yeah, fun game. Steal at $15. Hard not to recommend that one. But then we have a game that is, arguably not worth the price. Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, another game I put a review out on. This game, notoriously, should have been a pack-in. I've talked about it on several videos now. My stance is, A, should have been a pack-in. It's ridiculous that it wasn't a pack-in. B, it is a fun game in my opinion. I did enjoy it. And in a vacuum, oh, it got some balloons there. In a vacuum, I think had this not been a Nintendo-made game, the platform holder making a tutorial for their system, I think this is worth $10 as a game. It is a fun game. That's where I'll leave that there. Should have been a pack-in. But lots of fun demos to show off the system. Lots of fun behind-the-scenes, like tech analysis, like what certain decisions they went through, like what lessons they learned from the Switch 1 and what they wanted to improve, and like what went into the design of the Switch 2. Some really cool behind-the-scenes stuff I feel like you don't get to often see with Nintendo. They even have in some CAD modeling to where you can like see in the guts of it and like how things fit together. And then you had some fun mini games with some tough challenges. I spent pretty much the whole first day the Switch 2 was out 100%ing the game, getting all the medals. So basically means getting the high score in all the mini games. And I had a really good time with it. I did not regret buying the game. And I've been telling other people, if you want something to make you feel like the Switch 2 is a jump from the Switch 1, because the Switch 2 is basically just a more powerful Switch 1. That's what it is. It looks the same form factor, a little bigger, but for all intents and purposes, it's a bigger, better Switch 1. Except for mouse mode. I feel like Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour does a great job of showing off mouse mode, showing what kinds of gameplay mechanics could be implemented with that. The combination of really high fidelity, interesting rumble with a mouse is interesting to me, because I've played games with a mouse before. Obviously, computer games have been a thing forever, as long as games have existed, really, I feel like. But the idea of, one, really cool vibration with a mouse, and two, the possibility of using dual mouse mode, having a mouse in both hands, it makes me think and hope that Nintendo has some cool ideas on how to execute on that, how to implement that kind of control scheme into their future games. Me personally, I have my desk here is a full mousepad desk, so I have lots of room to move my arms around. Mouse mode is basically built for me. I have a monitor right here. I've got all this mouse space. So if Nintendo cranks out some good mouse mode games, like that's fine in my book. I don't think it'll work as well for other people. Like the whole you can use it on your leg thing. I doubt that'll work like for like specific really high precision mouse moding. Maybe it gets the job done for some simple stuff, but I don't know. I think you got to have a desk. You want to get a desk, get a mouse pad if you want to get the most out of mouse mode. But yeah, Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. If you want something to make you feel good about buying the Switch, and you can get over the whole paying for the tech demo thing, it was a good time. I enjoyed it. Next up is another game I just put a review out for. I think the time I'm recording this, it went up this morning, and that is Ruffy in the Riverside. This is technically it's a Switch 1 game. It's on Steam, PS4, PS5, Xbox, and then a Switch 1 version. There's not a Switch 2 version yet, but I played it on my Switch 2. It is a 3D puzzle platformer collectathon. It is think of Banjo-Kazooie, because Banjo-Kazooie is a clear inspiration for it. And then, but all the characters and NPCs look like Paper Mario characters. They've got the 2D paper look, and they got the white and black outline like a Paper Mario character. But yeah, Ruffy in the Riverside. I enjoyed it a lot. I didn't fall in love with the game. I thought it had some issues. The main issue being it has a very slow start, in my opinion. I was really worried. I was looking forward to this game, but my first hour kind of put me in jeopardy. It's like, am I gonna play this game all the way through? Because the first hour was a lot of talking, a lot of exposition, story development, and I'm not really always looking for that in an indie platformer. I think the whole package, the setup ended up being worth it. I ended up enjoying this. The very simple story is a cute, charming little story. I didn't dislike it. I thought it was a fun thing that happened. I just do think it could have been onboarded a little quicker at the beginning. And then the main premise of the game is the character Ruffy has this thing called the swap ability, where you can take textures and properties of basically anything on the world, and he can copy them, and then on applicable other things you can paste those properties or paste those materials onto them. So we're talking you got some stone blocks in your way. Ruffy's punches can't break the stone, but if you go to a tree and get the wood, and you can turn the stone blocks into wood, then you can punch through the wood and get the wall out of the way. So lots of changing stone or metal into wood, burning them in fire, or there's a wooden block up here, and then you got a straw ball, and you turn the straw into stone so it falls, and the wooden thing goes up, and you're playing with this physics chemistry system, and it has some fun implementation of it, some fun puzzles, and then it's also a 3D platformer. I think Ruffy runs at a fun speed, nice and quick and zippy. A good jump. You have a glide mechanic to combo with that sprint and jump. The actual platforming itself, I feel like is rarely difficult platforming. It's more just easy going, jump here, perfectly manageable jumps. Combat's very light. You can basically punch anything. There's 2 or 3 enemy types in the game. The bosses are really easy. Jump over their attack, punch them in the head a few times. But I thought the puzzles, there were some pretty smart puzzles that have good environmental hints. I enjoyed the game. If you are looking for a collectathon, I would say this is a good time. Most of the collecting is in the big middle area. Basically, you have a big hub area, then you have side levels jutting off of it. And the big hub area is where you're going to do 90% of the collectathon stuff. So if you want something just check off boxes and find collectibles, this is a good time. I think it's maybe about 10 hours, and I found most of the collectibles, not all the collectibles. Yeah, Ruffy in the Riverside, Recommend. I think it's on sale right now for a launch sale. I think I got it for like $18. So that was the. We have one more game to talk about. But before I talk about my favorite game of June, which I guess I didn't mention this, I'm going to name my favorite game of the month, which is actually not a Switch 2 game. But a couple things I want to mention. I've been playing some of the GameCube games on NSO. I'm a couple dungeons into Wind Waker. I'll talk more about Wind Waker probably next month when I hopefully have finished that. I played some Soul Calibur 2. I'm working through the Weapons Master mode. I streamed the first 6 or 7 chapters of that. I suck at that game, but it's a fun game. Playing as Link, and I'm basically just throwing people off the stage over and over again. That's a good time. Have not gotten to F-Zero GX yet. But I'm looking forward to starting Mario Strikers. That's coming out next week, so I'm looking forward to playing that again. And then as far as other stuff that came out this month, Death Stranding 2. I have not started Death Stranding 2. I'm intrigued by it. Death Stranding is one of those games I've always wanted to try. Hadn't ever tried it until this last few days. I did start Death Stranding 1 on my PS5. I had it in my library from PS Plus at some point. So I'm going to give Death Stranding 1 a go. I've started it about a couple hours in. I'm enjoying it so far. And assuming I enjoy that throughout, I'm going to jump into Death Stranding 2. Because it looks like it's getting good reviews. Looks like it could be a Game of the Year candidate. I want to experience that. But, all that being said, my favorite game of June was actually not a game, but an expansion to one of my favorite games of 2023. And that was Lies of P Overture. So Lies of P, I think it was definitely my top 5 in 2023. I think it was like number 4 for 2023. I really liked Lies of P. It is a Souls-like that is based off of the folk tale. It's got a lot of Pinocchio inspiration. Like, you are a puppet. Your dad is Geppetto. He made you, and you're killing a bunch of scary puppets. Fun game, fun Souls-like. I'm big into Souls-likes, and I think Lies of P is my favorite non-FromSoft Souls-like. So Overture. This is a late game DLC. You've got to be, I think it's chapter 10, which is like very late in the game. So you have to play through a whole save basically, and then you go to a specific spot, and it throws you in the DLC. Some basic top-level explainer of what the story is. It is a prequel that you are reliving or living through that colors the story a little better. So when I say prequel, you still keep your character, you keep your stats, keep your inventory, your weapons, all that. You get thrown back in time, and you're reliving events that led up to the base game of Lies of P. So you get to see how certain characters got to where they are, see what happened to certain other characters. You get to see kind of what built in this story. The Lies of P story I thought was pretty good. The base game, I didn't think it was like the craziest thing I ever saw. It wasn't what I was playing the game for. I was there for the gameplay and the vibes. I think the Overture story was very good. It made me care more about the base game story. The Overture story was an actual highlight rather than the base game story just being like, okay, yeah, this is some interesting stuff, but wasn't really pulling me through. The Overture story I was invested in. I wanted to see what happened, what was leading into this stuff. And like the little nuggets they drop in of like lore with the characters and like, what's this character doing? What's this character doing? How did this happen? I thought it was very well done. Let's see. Enemy variety. Pretty good enemy variety. There's a lot of new enemies in this DLC that aren't in the base game. And then it does because it is a prequel, it does smartly weave in some of the base game enemies into certain areas to make the world feel more cohesive. Like, it would make sense for these enemies to be here because of what happened in the base game, or what's going to happen in the base game. I won't spoil the whole, like, all the settings for the game, but the opening area is a zoo, which I think is a fun area for a Souls-like. You are in a zoo fighting animals. It says fighting animals, it sounds bad, like, monster animals, not like a regular animal, but like, zombie crazy animals that have lost their minds. It makes more sense when you play it. But I thought a zoo was a cool, fun area to explore in one of these games. Exploring Souls-like levels is one of my favorite things. It's not just the combat. I do like exploring the levels, finding the secrets, finding the items. And I think a zoo was just an interesting place to do that in. So I really enjoyed that. Some cool new weapons. One of the more important things in the expansions for these FromSoft games, Souls-like games. You got to add some more weapons, add something fun new to play with. And I was a little worried because I used one weapon in Lies of P, basically the whole story and all my New Game Plus saves. I used basically the same weapon over and over and over again because I loved it. Lies of P added like a 10 or 11 new weapons, but 3 of them that I actually loved enough to put my favorite base game weapon to the side, not even use it anymore. Some really cool stuff they added. One that's like a different way of playing the game that I thought was an interesting thing to pick up and use. But as far as bosses, story implication wise, there's a couple cool bosses. Boss mechanic wise, I think of the, let's just say, half dozen of bosses there are, about half of them I thought were fun mechanically. A couple of them I'm indifferent on, and then there's like 1, maybe 2 that I thought were kind of annoying to deal with. Specifically, like the first boss you fight, the first big named boss, was the most frustrating one for me. So I was like, this isn't a good start. But that was by far the one that was the most frustrating for me. And I almost wonder in hindsight if it was just because I had just started playing this game for the first time in a while and I wasn't like warmed up, so to speak. I was relearning the controls, relearning the mechanics, and getting used to the way the game felt again. So maybe that first boss wouldn't be so bad had I played through a whole run of the game into the DLC. I did have to play a little bit of the game to get to the DLC, but I was already midway through a run. So, my character's so over leveled in the base game that I feel like I had like built a lot of bad habits because I was used to just like tanking hits and killing things in one hit. So I feel like when I got to the DLC and it was a little tougher, I had lost all of that like know-how, and like I was just running into things trying to brute force it because I was used to being powerful, and I had to like recalibrate and be more thoughtful of my approach in the DLC. But yeah, Lies of P Overture. If you liked Lies of P, I think you owe it to yourself to play this. It is a good, I don't know, say dozen hours of content. So I did beat it in a weekend. I basically I sat through and played for basically 2 days, knocked it out. But I thought it was a really fun time. I love Lies of P, and I think this might be one of the best parts of the game, if not the best part of the game, is this Overture section. But yeah, that is June. Really happy with the games I was able to play this month. Like I said, Switch 2 came out, so I tried a lot of Switch 2 stuff. I did buy Deltarune. I never started Deltarune. I want to get into Deltarune. So maybe next month I'll have some thoughts on Deltarune. But also next month is Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong is going to be big for me. It looks like it's made by the Mario Odyssey team. I love Mario Odyssey, one of my favorite games of all time. So Donkey Kong is my tippy top, most anticipated thing right now. I don't see a world where I don't love Donkey Kong. So Bonanza, look forward to hearing or talking about that next month. But I'd like to know if anyone else, what their thoughts on the Switch 2 are. What kind of games they want to come to the Switch 2. What they think of the games they have been playing on their Switch 2. And you know how they're feeling about this new console in general. Is it just an overpriced upgrade, or is it like an exciting new opportunity with for future Nintendo games? I'm in the latter. If anything, I'm a Nintendo fanboy. I've got a box of cereal there to prove it. I'm excited about the power of the Switch 2, and I'm really hopeful they can nail that mouse mode. They can put some good games out with it and make it feel like a worthwhile new mechanic. But yep, that's all I got. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next month.